Call this meeting to order, the Board of Franklin County Commissioners. It's Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. It's 8:30. Roll call.
Commissioner Waymeyer,
Present.
Commissioner Harris,
Present.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Present.
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
Present.
Chair Dunn.
Present. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Correspondence, Derek?
No, sir.
Okay. Public comment?
We do have someone signed up, Norman Woogie.
Okay, a citizen desiring to speak on an item not on the agenda may do so at this time. Discussion is limited to 5 minutes, and the commission will not take action or discuss items at this time. Discussion should be limited to matters of county commission business, and public comment is not permitted in regard to personal matters or impending legal matters. Items introduced under public comment may become an agenda item at a later date. Norman? Norman, you ready?
Good morning.
Good morning.
If you guys were ADA compliant, you'd be furnishing me hearing aids. You guys are so far out of compliance, it's unreal. I guess you're just asking for trouble. Because the rules are that I file a grievance, and then you have time to, and then it goes to the Department of Justice. I guess you guys don't know what the rules are. Most of us are not happy with the performance of this commission. I get better service at Dollar General, and they make about $10 an hour. We have given this county slack. Fact is, we haven't been here for 2 weeks. And I've talked to the people that are in charge of their departments, and they just don't take it seriously. They're more interested, you guys are more interested in taking care of each other and to ensure that you get reelected, and then you vote unanimously. We can see it, and it works for a while. I've been going to commission meetings for 50 years, and I see it, and it falls by the wayside. There's problems with the hospital. And the problems are, you guys sign contracts. You guys write up contracts, and it puts you in a corner. If people aren't happy at the hospital, they need to go. 7 heart doctors in Olathe Medical walked out one day because they weren't happy. And you know, the comment was, well, we just move on. And these people that aren't happy need to move on, because usually when they're not happy, they're not doing a good job anyway. It's not in the best interest of the county not to solve these problems. I kind of solve problems all the time. Most of mine are mechanical, but some of them are otherwise. And that chair, they said, is ADA compliant. I measured the wheelchair. My wife and I have been in a wheelchair. It's not compliant at all. Can't get a wheelchair underneath there. Supposed to be a mic there and hearing stuff. So what do? You just ask for me to file a grievance, and we'll do it together. I'll get people behind me. Is that what you want? It's your choice.
Anybody else, Debbie?
No, that's the only one.
Okay, on the consent agenda, we have the December 7th minutes, tax change orders, and a minus $5,461.44, and special claim vouchers of $295,499.78. I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Debbie?
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire,
Yeah.
Chair Dunn.
Yes. Okay, first thing, item up for business is the write-offs for the health department from 2015 through 2022. Morning, Brenda.
Morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning. Yes, as we spoke on Monday at the study session, the Health Department would like to ask permission to write off the bad debt that is from October 1st, 2015, when we started with Patagonia, till June 30th, 2022, for a total of $52,855.01. We have spoke, or Janet has spoke to Rodney about the process and what we need to follow. If we find that it is a different number, I will come back to the commissioners and correct the number as we go through the process. Any questions for me?
And this amount was discovered by better utilizing the Patagonia software. And we
Thank you.
realized that, Midge was attempting to do, and Midge was fantastic, don't get me
Yes.
wrong, was doing write-offs. These were just amounts that were missed, correct?
Correct, like 2016. Thank you, Derek, for that. We found out that there was some training that was still left over, and I got a grant for some more training, and of course, being new, and everyone in the health department being new, we just start in the process of being trained, and so we're learning better ways to find details, and it'll just help us improve our systems and efficiencies. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, we talked about this Monday at our Board of Health meeting, so. Any questions of Brenda?
The attachment is kind of, I question it because it's like it'll say 0 to 30 days an amount, but then it says current balance due 0. And I didn't know why there would be no current balance due, why it says 0.
And thank you for pointing that out. That is one of the reasons, because nothing's been happening on the account. So that's part of the process of Patagonia, and that is the process of where we want to learn the best way and go ahead and deal with it right away.
Because it's not current.
That's right. So that's why the 30, 60, 90, 120 days that you're seeing on your report, thank you for pointing that out. So, since there's been no activity, according to the Patagonia software experts, that's normal. But that's why I did want to clarify that if we go through, and because we have to open up each one of those accounts, those many pages you have in your report, we have to open up each account. So this is what the bad debt report shows, but when we actually get into the nitty-gritty, we're going to calculate it in Excel and make sure that we have the right number for the books.
Makes sense.
Thank you for that. Thank you for pointing that out. And that question, any other questions or comments?
Okay, affirmative motion, I make a motion to approve the Health Department to remove bad debt accounts from October 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2022, $52,855.01.
Motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Chair Dunn.
Yes. Thank you, Brenda.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Next item up for business, we just discussed this also on Monday. David, want to go ahead?
Yes, sir. So as we discussed in Monday's study session, Ham's Quarry, which operates the landfill that all of our municipal solid waste that comes through our transfer station is hauled to that landfill by Ham's, in Ham's trailers, by Ham's personnel, and dumped at their facility. They have been operating under a contract that was signed in 2007, and they would like to update that contract with current cost considerations, along with addressing kind of modern unacceptable waste considerations, and also updating the minimum trailer tonnage. All of these things we discussed on Monday and are included in the memo that is attached here too. I think that the bottom line is that staff is comfortable with the terms and conditions in this addendum. We feel like from a financial standpoint, the increases that we instituted at the landfill back in September are adequate to cover the increased costs associated with this addendum. And also our operational changes that we've made will be in line with what their expectations are moving forward. So Hams has been a terrific partner with Franklin County, and I firmly believe that it would be in our best interest to continue this relationship going forward. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Anybody have any questions? If not, positive motion be, I make a motion approving that N.R. Ham Quarry LLC addendum to waste services contract for the Franklin County Transfer Station.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Yes.
Chair Dunn.
Yes, thank you, David, for that. Okay, staff reports, you want to lead us off, Derek?
I do. A couple of things. As you know, Advent Health is changing some things around. They're redoing the Gollier Center down there. We've given them permission to do some remodeling down on the south side of the building. That has created the need for a new lease. I've got a new lease drafted. It is an opportunity, though, to review our pricing structure, what we're asking for rent, and was hoping to at least put it on your radar, if not gather your thoughts. Like Christina and I have looked into this. It's hard to find data from this community, and as you can imagine, rent in other communities is just all over the place. Brandon and I have looked at like utility costs, but that's not a great barometer because, as you know, we've updated the mechanicals in this building. We've switched to LED lights, and so there's no great trend in utility prices that we can really grasp onto. Would love to, and I know I'm kind of got you off the cuff here, but do you have any thoughts? Do you want to give that some thought? I think they're trying to start construction at the start of 23. So I know Dallas is anxious to get some kind of lease. I don't think that, they've been a good tenant just as OFP has. Certainly, want to make sure that we're fair, but also didn't just want to put the same thing in front of them without consulting the five of you. So, any thoughts?
The rate, how long's the rate been that way?
I don't know. I can look into that. I don't think that in my time here, we have not.
I don't think it's changed rent-wise, and I've been here 19 years almost, so.
What is it now?
I want to say it's like, and don't quote me on this. I wish I had the lease in front of me. I want to say it's like 1181 a square
I
foot.
was gonna say 11 something a square foot's right in my mind.
Yeah.
Will it, so when they, close off that hallway, will there be additional square footage then that will be
Yeah, and
included?
yes, and we've captured that. So
Yeah.
I've got the new square footage. That's not an issue. And mind you, they are improving the space.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're putting like $5 million
Putting a
into
lot of
those,
money.
both of it, so.
Yes, and absolutely they are.
I would say a percentage increase, something to try and make up some ground for just,
Yeah.
so we can keep doing improvements. But
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what you'd be talking about. What, like, would you say if it was 1181, what would you do, 12 and a half? Or,
I would say 10, 15. I mean, not crazy, but it's been 10 years since we've increased the.
I'll make sure that I know we've had this discussion. I'll look and do a little bit more thorough search on have we raised these? Because I think obviously but I don't know that we have, so. But pending that research, something in the 10% range, does
It'd be
that?
real nice if we could do that, tie it to inflation or something,
Yeah.
a published number that, I thought the Hams contract was really neat where it used a combination of 3 items that would, that was neat. Because I mean, some years there is deflation and that way they are paying less, but then they also tied it to their labor costs, their fuel costs, it seemed really fair, but, kind of a complicated mechanism, but if we could tie it to something that just was not a radical, fluctuating number, but just kind of gave a good way for both parties to do business consistently, so.
And I think what we do here, I mean, we have leases that come up for renewal from, I believe our standard is a 5-year lease, so I would want to do something across the board for our other, I mean, we pay rent to ourselves too, so it would be the same thing for,
well, because you said, so if we sign it now, it's a 5-year lease, so if we don't change anything now, we don't change it again for 5 years? and
oh,
then I think we
no,
really
that
do need
doesn't
to.
necessarily have to be the case, and I don't know what Advent is going to want or propose for the new lease, that's just what I mean, I know recently I say recently, it's been several years ago now, but I think back, I believe it was prior, I know it was prior to the affiliation because Ransom's name is on it, but I think it was in anticipation of affiliating. They wanted quick outs on all of their, like, we had a fairly lengthy notice mechanism in order to get out of the lease, and they wanted that changed, which we did. But I don't know what their specific requests are gonna be. This juncture we need to put pricing info in that. But I'll look back and see when the last time we changed it was. I'll try to tie it to, I mean, I know what our labor costs, I mean, that's one. I know how those have went up every year, and that's easily trackable, so.
As a functional way, I mean, our fund balance that we use to make improvements to the building definitely isn't growing. I mean, as soon as we, get it back up, we need to resurface parking lot, replace HVAC units, flooring, something like that. So those items have certainly gone up, especially recently, so at least 10%.
I
So,
would say at least,
yeah,
And I really appreciate.
definitely not just an excuse to raise it for no reason. I mean, there's a necessity
Yeah.
tied
and
to the decision.
That is a fantastic point, like our annex fund. In fact, it's building back, but we've depleted it to do all of the work that we've done. And all the work that we've done is greatly appreciated. We've got a lot of great feedback on that. But yes, certainly, I mean, you could say this about all of our funds, but they're not growing exponentially at the expense of our tenants by any means, so. Okay. Well, I'll look into the things that we've discussed. Just off the cuff, though, do any of you balk at somewhere in the neighborhood of a 10%?
Do we take into consideration increased traffic load on our parking lot on a deal like this?
Well, I don't know if we know that there would be an increased traffic load. That's something that we could talk about with the hospital. I feel like that question was asked when we were approached, and I don't believe that they were anticipating a dramatically increased traffic load, but I'm happy to ask again.
I just know that it's having a parking or problem down at the old Collier Center because of not enough parking places, so. But that'd be something to look into.
I think I know the answer to one of my questions. If I remember right, we do lose access to the two public bathrooms down there, right?
Right.
In the changeover.
Yeah.
And the other one was, well, I can't remember exactly, is our access to our upstairs rooms that we have storage up above. I know we talked about it, but I don't remember how that was gonna. I know Dustin and Public Health and that have storage up there, and I didn't know how that was gonna.
Yeah, we will maintain access to the upstairs. So we will keep that. In terms of the public restrooms, I mean, yes, there are two, and they are truly public restrooms at this point, but they are flanked on either side by Advent suites.
Sure.
We have our own restrooms and our own suites, and so practically, I think most of the people that would have used those restrooms anyway were Advent patients, and they're still gonna have restrooms, so I don't know that on paper, we're losing something. In reality, I don't know that but no, we're not
Like I
losing
said,
access.
I thought I knew the answer to that one, but the only one I couldn't remember exactly was the access to
Yeah,
where we have storage up there.
yeah, we'll maintain that.
I think when we saw the plans that they worked it around so we could still get up there.
Absolutely.
Should be looking into this a little bit more, or
Yeah.
inflation.
Yeah, I can't promise you I'll come back with an ironclad way of, doing it with machine-like consistency, but we can try and tie it to something, so.
Did they approach you, Derek, about what the rent would be, or?
I mean, we've had those discussions, but they need a lease. They're about to start construction and they understandably want something in place, so.
Okay. Anything else, Derek?
One other thing, so Dr. Budd was our medical officer and also our coroner. Dr. Nichols is now our medical officer, doing a fantastic job. Dr. Budd has been acting as our coroner. Met with him last week, and I'm elated with this. He is willing to continue being our coroner, which is fantastic because there's not anybody else in his practice that wanted to do that. And I will tell you, that is a position that counties struggle to find. He did have some requests. I mean, he's no longer a practicing physician. And so when he was upkeeping his licenses and doing these things at, the expense of his practice. Now he's not. He's asked what we could do to potentially help with that. I will get costs, but it's not a lot. He was worried about malpractice insurance. We've looked into it. He's covered under K-Camp already, that position, the coroner position is. So there will be no added expense to him or the taxpayers. He's under that policy. And he has asked us to review his pay as well. We're paying him appreciably less than, a lot of counties have had to resort to using services out of the city, far more expensive than Dr. Budd is. So that's a contract that will come back in front of you. Just wanted to get a feel for where you're at, make sure you didn't have any qualms with me considering putting in there that the county will cover. I don't think his continuing education expenses, again, it's just like with attorneys, any profession, you can do it expensively, but you can also do it pretty cheaply, and we've done it cheaply here. He's indicated that he has no problem, doing that as efficiently as possible, but wanted to make sure there weren't any issues with, again, you will have to formally approve it in a document, but didn't want to get started down a path without.
I agree with you. It's kind of been, over the years, that's been a hard position to have somebody fill.
Yeah.
And but has done it for a long time,
Yeah.
and I can remember back when even the ambulance department was, kind of did some of the corner work because it didn't have anybody, so
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Well,
we need to work with him.
our next option would be far more expensive.
Yeah.
And then there's also the trust element that somebody, I mean, the coroner, a lot of times, especially, some of the deaths they investigate, it's good to have that trust element that somebody from your community, somebody you know and trust looking into it. I'm like, well, they said it was, this or that, and that's not nothing.
Yeah.
My question would be, since he's retired and supposedly he probably might be gone more, do we have a backup if we need a coroner and he's out of town?
We don't currently have a
It
backup.
might be something we might need to see what we could do if he's not available. Be the only thing.
Yeah, I'm glad he's willing to do it.
Yeah.
Continue on.
Yeah, I remain, I mean, Dr. Budd is the consummate public servant. For someone to have retired from such a long, distinguished career, and he is still, and my take is that he's not reluctantly doing it. He wants to continue to help out. And that just, I can't say enough. It's really impressive, and I'm incredibly grateful for that.
Good deal.
Okay.
Anything else, Derek?
No, that's
That
it.
good?
Thanks, Roy.
Okay. Paul, do you want to say anything? Christie, you got something for us?
Good morning.
Morning.
Just a little bit of backstory. We hear about the opioid crisis a lot
Every day.
now on television. One of the ways, or we have to report data with EMS. We have to report it nationally to what's called the National EMS Information Center. We also do it statewide through the Kansas EMS Information Center. Last week, I received an email from the executive director of the Board of EMS, and there was a huge announcement from the White House. They have actually implemented a dashboard specific to EMS data relating to our encounters with non-fatal opioid overdoses. It's only through submission of EMS data that it's even possible. And I just wanted to share that dashboard with you so that you could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to navigate from here. So you can see that we can get specific all the way to the state. I'm going to try to, there we go. So we can look at data in a year period, but also in a rolling 28-day period. And it defaults to where we can see the whole US, but we can get just really, really specific with it. And we can look at our state, but not only our state, we can go and we can look at our county and show how we are doing. Sorry, there is nothing worse than watching somebody else try to run a computer. I apologize. And you can see that our data for Franklin County is right here. All of this data came from Franklin County EMS, every bit of it. So not only is it something that's available for everyone, it's a tool for us to use too to track metrics within our department to see how well we're doing. Unfortunately, Franklin County does have a higher than average opioid overdose rate. However,
Are we much higher than average or just higher than average? I can't tell which Brown we are.
So we are just higher than average, this much higher
It's
than average.
it's bad either way,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's even darker. So there are a couple of really good things I would like to show you with this. So if we change our metrics and let's just look over the course of the month, you can still see that yes, we are higher than average for our non-fatal opioid overdoses. But we can also start to look at how much Narcan we give. And Narcan is the agent that we use to reverse those opioid overdoses. You can see with that, we're higher than average as well too. So you would expect that the two would correlate. But I also like to think that with the sheriff's department, they're acutely aware of the rate of overdoses and they work diligently to make sure their deputies are trained. So I think there's a combination of factors that are bearing into this. Good recognition on the part of all of our first responders and our ambulance personnel that are coming in. And then the other metric that we can look at is the average EMS time to patient. And on this one, you can see that we're lower than average. So we're actually getting to our patients faster than what the national average is. And then last but not least, we can also look at the percent not transported to a medical facility. Not sure why this data hasn't been reported by the other counties, but I can tell you with Franklin County, we are at 0. So every non-fatal opioid overdose that we encounter, we are transporting them to a hospital. So I just wanted to share this with you because, you know, data and submitting data is a very abstract concept, but actually being able to see how the data gets played and put into use has some bearing on a lot of things. And
Is reporting required on this?
reporting is mandated.
Okay, so
Yes.
it's a good sample.
Yes. Luckily, we do have a software system. We use it to write our patient care reports, and it extrapolates all the data, and it sends it both to NIMSIS and KIMSIS.
So if the sheriff encounters an opioid situation.
Yes.
You will always be called in, so
Yes.
that data will be in here.
That
So
is
it's not like
correct.
they have to report it to you because you
Nope.
weren't involved.
We will, yes, we will be notified, and that will be entered into our patient care reports as well. I'm hoping that they expand on the dashboard a little bit. This is right now in just a beta test, but this is, to me, very exciting.
Is that just a 1 month, report there?
That one is a 1-month report. We can also change it to where we look at a rolling year point as well.
What was the number for just that 1 month, number of incidences?
So it didn't break it down that specifically,
Oh,
what they were. I could go back and get you that data if you would like.
I saw a number up there, but I couldn't read it.
They just give the average, that's just all of the national averages that are screened across the top. And the number that's associated when you click on our county, it shows what the population of our county is.
Oh, that's what it is.
It
okay.
is, so when you scroll over any of them, it's showing what the population of the county is.
Okay.
Those percentages, not actual numbers, probably so they can maintain anonymity on smaller counties.
That is correct, yes.
That's very neat. It'd be a good tool.
It is.
I can just always, a seminar I went to one time on meth labs and so forth, they talking about the Topeka being the hot spot in Kansas and all that, but after they got done with the presentation, you realize they just do a better job of finding them.
Yeah.
And trying to court, and it may be you just do a better job of reporting than others do. I mean, you know, it happens, you know, you just do a better job.
Well,
I mean, it's gonna go up some because you just do a better job of recording and.
I can
and
say
reporting it.
this is absolutely directly tied to our street technicians. They're the ones that fill out the reports, and that's what it is based on. So they do a phenomenal job.
I absolutely was thinking the same thing because in Western Kansas, they have, some of them are volunteer
Right.
ambulance drivers, and I can't imagine them, you know, taking the time also to fill out all the reports to make sure it's reported to the federal or even transporting them all or whatever.
Sure.
So, anyway. Cool.
How does Kansas rate nationally for us incidences?
I believe we can change
What color are
that
we?
back. But I believe Kansas was higher than average. But don't quote me on that, but we can look. If it will pull up. Now it's not wanting to change anything. Oops. So with Kansas, overall, Kansas is lower than average.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay,
How to solve the problem?
we're trying to be part of the solution.
That's right, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christie. Kenny, you got something for us? Okay, sure. Dustin? No, sir. David?
So last Friday, we closed on the property adjacent to the landfill, finally. That's been in the works for quite a long time. Finally got accomplished last Friday. So we now own that 58 acres. Tomorrow, SCS Engineers, our consultant that's helping us with the landfill expansion, will be on that site to take soil samples. They'll use that information to help them and help us determine how much of that additional property we can include in the landfill or the C&D permit expansion. And so that part of the project is ongoing. Last week, they were out. They used a drone to collect topographic information on our existing landfill, our C&D landfill operation, to be able to calculate remaining airspace, which will give us an idea on our compaction rates, which is an important number for us going forward. While they were out there, they also collected data on the new property, and they will mesh that new topography data in with the existing to create an overall surface model that they will use as their basis for design going forward. So that project is should probably gather steam going forward now that we have that property. And so we're going to be scheduling a meeting with KDHE here in January to kind of talk about where we are and where we're going and schedule and those sorts of things. We were also notified yesterday by KDOT. If you recall, we submitted 4 bridges through 2 different funding streams for replacement. As expected, we were not selected in this round. Just for perspective, the local bridge improvement program, they had 114 applications worth $161 million in construction costs. They awarded 11 projects with the $20 million that they had available. The off-system program, which has been really good to us over the years, that program received 99 applications worth $93 million. They awarded 22 projects for the $20 million that they had available in that. So we'll apply again next year, but I suspect that it'll be 2025 before our number is picked again, simply because we've got the Osborne Terrace Bridge that's, they're giving us $1 million for that. and that project is scheduled to begin or be led next March. So that is a go. Also, we have been using the new PubWorks software for about 4 weeks now. We continue to learn new things with it every day. One of the benefits of the software are the reports that can be generated. This is really the first time in the 4 years that I've been here that with a click of a button, I can print a report and know approximately the amount of work that we've done. So just to give you an idea, over the last 4 weeks, which is the first 4 weeks that we've had this software, we have bladed 752 road segments, which a road segment is a road intersection to intersection. And so those vary. So 752 of those, we've added gravel to 33 of those road segments. We've completed 9 culvert installation and maintenance projects, 15 ditching projects. We've worked on 69 sign-related projects, 11 trash removal projects, and 9 tree removal projects over the last 4 weeks. I suspect, and time will tell, but I suspect that this is more of an accurate representation of the work that is performed by the Road and Bridge Department. We've never had the ability to track it to this level until now. So it's I think it's a great thing. So I'll continue to probably give you monthly updates on this. And as I continue to learn the software, we'll probably be able to take a deeper dive into certain things as necessary. So really happy with where we're at on that. The folks continue to utilize it every day. New questions come up every day, and so that is top of mind for all of my employees, plus myself and everyone. So with that, I'll happy to answer any questions that you may have.
That's good. They're getting used to the software now.
Yeah. And this is folks utilizing this software that have never been, some of them have never, I think I've made this comment before, never even really utilized the internet. And so now they're using a device and entering data every day from maps and whatnot. So we've taken a huge step forward.
Good for them.
Good. Debbie, do you have anything? Okay. Don, do you have
No.
anything? Ron?
No.
Ann?
I went to the Chamber Coffee at the Ottawa Library on Friday, which is usually the very best attended coffee there is in the year. They announced their new community read for next year. It's a book called Finding Dorothy. It kind of relates to, it's told from the viewpoint of, it's fiction, but it's told from the viewpoint of the wife of the gentleman who actually wrote The Wizard of Oz. And anyway, sounds like it'd be an interesting book. It is a community read. They'll do some community things throughout the year. They try to make it multi-generational, so everything from kiddos to adults. And they're free, so go down to the library, get a book. It's also the 150th anniversary of the library this year, and the Mugshot Coffee actually came up with a drink and named it the Librarian Latte. So if you want to go get a librarian latte at the, they said that they used, they tried to think of what was available 150 years ago as far as to flavor it. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, 150 years ago, anise, which is like licorice, or cocaine they were using 150 years ago. They did not use either of those. They used vanilla, cinnamon, and I can't remember. Anyway, so. Yeah, so anyway, they didn't, honey, vanilla, and cinnamon they used instead of the cocaine, so that's probably good. And then the last thing, I think if Brenda was, then yesterday morning, I went to the chamber board meeting. John Cohen announced to the board that he is retiring on March 31st, so they will be in a search mode for a new person. I think the biggest discussion is, what do you pay somebody to get somebody in that you want, that really has, anyway, so that'll be a big discussion moving forward. They announced the chamber banquet's going to be on March 2nd, at OU. And I think if Brenda was still here, we had our Board of Health meeting on last Wednesday, she would say, get your flu shot. This year, it is bad. My grandson was out all last week with the flu. And if you haven't had a COVID booster since the new one came out that covers Omicron, that would probably be a good thing to get your COVID booster, get your flu shot. Have a good Christmas, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Cole, do you have anything? Nope. I don't have anything. We got a luncheon at the City Hall at noon time. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Adjourn.